All right, let's talk about the brand new heavyweight that just stepped into the AI ring, Grok 4. This is xAI's latest and frankly most powerful model yet, and it is absolutely making waves. So let's break down what makes this thing such a big deal.
Yeah, you could say the AI race just got a whole lot hotter. I mean, the competition was already intense, right? Well, this just kicked everything into a completely different gear.
So let's get into the specifics. On July 9th, 2025, xAI officially dropped Grok 4. And look, this isn't just some minor update. This is a full-on challenge thrown down to the big players, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic. The claim here is sharper reasoning and some really new fundamental capabilities.
Okay, so here's the first thing you need to know. Grok 4 isn't just one thing. They've actually released it in two different flavors. First, you've got the standard Grok 4, which is a really powerful all-around model for text, reasoning, you name it. But then there's Grok 4 times heavy. And this is the one that uses a totally different approach with multiple AI agents to seriously boost its accuracy and cut down on errors.
So you might be asking, what kind of hardware does it take to run something like this? Well, it's a beast, seriously. Grok 4 is powered by xAI's Colossus supercomputer, and it is packed with over 200,000 NVIDIA GPUs. Just let that number sink in. We're talking about one of the most massive, compute-hungry AI setups on the entire planet. This really tells you that xAI is not messing around.
Now, xAI keeps talking about how Grok 4 is designed for first principles reasoning. Thinking like a physicist, breaking problems down to their absolute basics. It's a great marketing line for sure, but what does that actually mean when the rubber meets the road? Well, the secret sauce, especially for that Grok 4 heavy model we mentioned, is something called a multi-agent system.
So what is a multi-agent system? Honestly, it's pretty much what it sounds like. Instead of having one giant AI brain trying to figure out a problem all by itself, you have a whole team of smaller, independent AI agents, and they all attack the same problem from different angles in parallel. Then, they get together, compare notes, and collaborate to come up with the best possible solution. This is a really big deal. It's a fundamental shift away from single, giant models toward a more collaborative AI approach.
Probably the easiest way to think about this is to imagine a super smart study group, right? You give them a tough problem, each AI agent, each student, goes off and works on it alone. Then, they all come back to the table, share their answers, and even debate with each other about which solution is best. After all that back and forth, they settle on one final answer that's way more accurate than what any single one of them could have come up with on their own. And that collaborative process, that's the secret to Grok 4 Heavy's incredible performance.
Okay, so that's the theory behind it all, this study group of AIs. But the real question is, does it actually work? How does this new approach translate into real-world power? Well, let's take a look at the data because the numbers are pretty staggering. First off, let's talk about its memory, or what we call the context window. Through its API, Grok 4 has a massive 256,000 token context window. Now, what does that mean for you? Think of it like the AI's short-term memory. It's so big, it can read and remember an entire book, a massive legal contract, or a huge chunk of computer code, all at once without forgetting the beginning. For anyone doing complex analysis, this is an absolute game changer.
But look, this is where things get genuinely wild, the benchmarks. Take a look at this humanities last exam benchmark. This is a test of PhD-level reasoning, and Grok 4 Heavy didn't just inch past the previous record, it nearly doubled it. And it's not a one-off. On a business simulation benchmark, it made more than double the money of the next best model. We're not talking about small incremental gains here. These are massive, jaw-dropping leaps forward.
Let's just focus on that humanities last exam score for a second, because this chart really says it all. The previous best models were stuck down here at around 27%. Grok 4 Heavy, it jumps all the way to over 50%. I mean, that's a monumental breakthrough. It's the very first time any model has crossed that 50% line on what's supposed to be one of the hardest tests for AI ever created. But it's not all about crushing academic benchmarks, right? Grok 4 is also built to be a really practical tool. It's got real-time web search, so its information is up to the minute. There's a whole specialized version just for coders. And, maybe coolest of all, it has this upgraded voice and vision mode that can literally use your phone's camera to see and talk about what's going on around you in real time. Okay, so it's powerful, we get it.
But that brings us to the really practical questions, right? How can you actually use this thing? How much is it going to cost? And what's the catch? Because there's always a catch.
Well, getting access is actually pretty straightforward. If you're an X subscriber on one of the premium tiers, it's right there for you. It also has its own standalone mobile apps and a website, grok.com. And of course, for all the developers out there, they've opened up API access so you can build Grok's brain into your own apps.
All right, now let's talk price. And you're going to want to pay attention here because there's a huge difference between the two versions. The standard model, called Super Grok, is about what you'd expect, $30 a month. But if you want access to that super powerful, benchmark-crushing Super Grok Heavy model, the price jumps to $300 a month. Yeah, that's a tenfold increase.
And yeah, that price tag is definitely raising some eyebrows. A lot of folks are calling it, quote, prohibitively expensive for most individual users. So what we have here is this incredible state-of-the-art performance, but it comes at a price that basically walls it off from your average user or hobbyist.
And of course, it's not all smooth sailing. No model is perfect, and Grok 4 comes with its own set of challenges and criticisms. There have been some really serious concerns about content moderation, with reports of biased or even offensive outputs. On top of that, users are reporting bugs and the usual AI hallucinations. And then you have the big picture issues, that high price we just talked about, and some pretty serious environmental questions about the fact that this whole operation is reportedly powered by gas turbines.
But despite those issues, xAI is absolutely not slowing down. They are moving full steam ahead and have already laid out a really ambitious, really fast-paced roadmap for what's coming next.
And when I say fast-paced, I mean it. Just look at the back half of 2025. They're planning to release a specialized coding model in August. Then in September, a full multimodal agent that can handle text, images, and audio. And then just 1 month later in October, they want to debut native video generation to go head-to-head with things like OpenAI's Sora. It's a lot. They are moving incredibly fast.
So, that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? With its mind-blowing performance, this new multi-agent architecture, and this insane pace of development, is Grok 4 really the dawn of a new era in AI? Or is it just the next big, powerful move in a high-stakes game where the board is constantly being reset? I guess we'll have to wait and see.